Okay, I'm going to explain how a graduated cut looks compared to a blunt cut and explain the steps of the 4 essentials. So a blunt cut is referring to a 0 degree, and that is where you do not elevate anything, you do not like over direct, nothing. You don't want any layers. So let's pretend she doesn't have these very little bits of layering and it's all just this. What you would want to do first is you'd want her to be looking like straight forward, right? Tilt her head down. Take a section and act like it's almost, imagine it's the natural way her hair falls when she's looking up. So you want it to go kind of straight down with gravity, and then you would just cut till all of the back is the same, you know, check it. Oh my gosh, this girl is hard to control. I like undo her, but then she doesn't go back. Okay. Then you would want to do the sides, right? You'll have her kind of tilt her head. Obviously, you want to stay exactly in front of it as you cut it. You wouldn't be cutting it over here, like you're not going to be able to tell if it's perfectly even. So as you go, you follow it. You go here, 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 as you go around. If she wants face framing, that's a whole nother thing, and that's not what we're going into, so we're gonna ignore face framing. Say she didn't want that. Next, you have the 180, which is long layers, which is kind of what she has towards the front. Okay, for the 180, you want to elevate everything, basically. If we're kind of blending the face framing, we would use finger angle and blend that up, kind of, it's hard to see, but I would like chop those bits, blend it up. But let's pretend she has no face framing. We would just cut right there. All over the head. All over. Everywhere. Usually I stop right about like, I'm trying to remember what it's called. This spot, because as you can see, look, watch, you'll see something crazy. It's not actually crazy, it's basic, but it's important to know. And yeah, so if I pull this up, and let's say I am cutting up here, these bits that are part of the perimeter fall out because they don't reach up here where I'm cutting the layers. However, if it does reach up there, what you would want to do is just take a little bit out of that perimeter so you don't lose that length. But we don't have that issue with her. And you basically do that over the whole head. When you turn her upside down, it just looks like a flat surface. Next up, we have the 90 degree. This one I hate. We do the perimeter, and then we take her hair, and you always pull it 90 degrees out from her head. And you do that all over, everywhere, her entire head. I usually take smaller sections, which is what I've been told is easier as you get used to it. So let's say I'm working down the mohawk. In order to get a true 90 or uniform layer cut, you have to, hold on, there we go. You have to make sure that these hairs on the outside, it's small enough so that when you pull it out, it is all 90 degrees off of the head. Because if I took a hair from down here with it and I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull it 90 degrees. Now this is over directed over to this section. So when I cut this, this part is not fully 90 degrees off the head. It would be more like there, fully 90 degrees off the head. Which is really important, because if you kind of do that, I've done it before. I've messed up a lot of mannequins, kind of just trying different things and seeing what like different things create. And if you do that, it creates like a very choppy look. It does not look good whatsoever. If you wanted to see what it looks like, you can do it, but I just did it because I was like, how would that work and what would it do? And I get intrigued by that stuff. Next up, we have the 45. The 45 is a whole different thing. A lot of times, the way people do it is they start off with this bottom part and cut to a certain length. Let's say I cut it right here, or let's say I cut right here, right? Then they'll take another section, pull it down, and cut it basically like a little bit below that spot, and just keep doing that going up, if that makes sense. So like, here's the first cut, right? So it's like this, and then you lay the second layer on top. You cut it a little bit in front, so a little bit before, right there, which then gives it that stacked look. We can pretend like this. Gives it that stacked look as it goes, creating that sort of 45-degree haircut. Another way people do it, if we wanted to have more length in the front and less length in the back, you would over direct the front. So let's take this little piece down here. And over direct it. And then let's say we have another little piece down here. This is the actual back. This is our little guide. It's the back part. When I pull these, and then let's say I cut, this one will be shorter than this one, if that makes sense. It'll just create longer hair here, shorter hair here, because where the starting point is closer to me and closer to where I'm cutting, versus the starter point being way up here. You can also do it the opposite way if you want more length in the back, but it's not really a 45. A 45 is usually just very stacked, creating that kind of, it reminds me of a slide upside down. Where it's like that on the head versus a blunt cut or a 0 degree. Everything reaches one area, one spot on her. No slope, and you don't use over direction, you don't use finger angle, nothing. Another way you can do the 45 that I've seen some people do online. Miss Karen never taught us this way, I believe, but some people just straight up go like this and finger angle it and then cut that bit off, creating that stacked look. But it's kind of what you learn and what you get used to. So 0 degree and a 45 are very, very different. And that is why.